Welcome to the Lost Vet podcast, where we are helping you to get back to your passion and purpose. I'm your host, Dr. Melodie Chan, and in today's episode of Destination People, I'm excited to talk to our trainer and mentor friend, Jodi Lynch Findley, about how we can be better communicators through listening. Have a listen. Jodi, always good to see you.
Back again, Melodie. I love these dates. Let's keep doing this. It's so fun.
This is so fun. I'm especially excited because you are going to help challenge us in maybe rethinking what communication actually is. Because again, when someone says, oh, we really have to work on our communication and how we communicate as a team, I would venture to say, because I go into that space, the first thing I start thinking about is, okay, well, how can I be a more effective communicator in conveying my message and being more clear in the words that I say? And you're already chuckling. So challenge away, Jodi. What is communication to you?
You said the key word. You said you're thinking about you. Like you said, I'm thinking about me and my message. Me. We're thinking about me. It's always about me.
It is, isn't it?
Isn't there there's a country song out there, so I won't sing it. I won't subject us and our listeners to that today. But is it all about me? And I will challenge us. I have challenged myself because I was born knowing it was all about me. I can promise you. My husband would still say, well, of course it's all about you. So that's where I feel like, I can kind of laugh about it and say, when it comes to communication, it is not about me. It is simply not about me. And I've just been so blessed along the way, working for companies like Purina and Zoetis to have had so much professional development around becoming a better communicator, becoming a better professional. And just the more I dove into that and the more I studied, first and foremost, most of my career success can be attributed to the fact that very early on, I very consciously made a decision to be a better listener. So that is really, Melodie, what I'm here to talk about today when it comes to communication. That it isn't about talking and texting and presenting and conveying those messages from an oral perspective. If we will challenge ourselves to become just a little bit better listener, we are winning. And I just thought of this, but I'll challenge you and our listeners to guess what the average attention span is today. As we sit here today, data tells us that the average human being's attention span is how long?
Is it 7 seconds?
You got it.
Okay,
you win.
Woo! Overachiever.
You
Thank
are
goodness.
An overachiever. 7 seconds. Oh my gosh. Like we can't listen to something for longer than 7 seconds. And so, as you think about it from that perspective, we are really challenged to speak to people in a way that speaks to them, not for us. So why are we always talking in order to hear ourselves talk, in order to convey our own messages, goals, and objectives? Where if we are going into our interactions from the perspective of what can I learn? I want you to challenge yourself to be more curious about people. Like we're curious about the things we're passionate about, but what about the people that we get to spend time with? Are you truly curious about who they are, why they're there, what they want? And we've talked before about, the word impact. Every one of us wants to make an impact. And so even just from a very basic perspective, what if every person that I got the opportunity to share a conversation with, I was truly curious about what impact they wanted to make on the world? Boy, that might be something to listen to, right? We would learn so much and just gain so much more depth to the relationships with the people that we spend our time with, whether it's personal or professional. Whether it's someone we work with or someone we work for or someone who works for us or, someone at home. And so I talk a lot about really focusing on listening. And this goes back like early on in my career. I remember going through number of Stephen Covey courses, and of course, reading books by Stephen Covey. And still to this day, a lot of us teach the 4 levels of listening that are attributed to Stephen Covey.
So, what are those 4 levels? I have to admit, I haven't been exposed to this.
Yes. And this is one where if you really think about it and start to kind of evaluate your conversations, you'll be like, oh, I could maybe do better at this.
Okay.
The first one, that they talk about, they label as being a marginal listener. All of us spend time being marginal listeners.
Yep.
Right? Are we in a conversation? Are we on a Zoom call where we know the content? I don't know why I'm here in this meeting, so I'm over here doing other things, right? Like I can be working on my next task while I'm listening to what's going on here. I'm sort of listening. There might be key words that or a key person who, when they speak, I'm like, I better pay attention to this.
Okay.
Right? So we all spend time marginally listening. Then there's the most popular form of listening, which is selective listening.
Like my dog.
Think about partners and spouses and the people we spend so much time with. We are selective. Like they're talking and it seems that we're listening. But if we have to repeat that conversation 3 minutes later, we have no idea that our spouse just said something about taking the trash out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we all spend time in marginal and selective listening. That's level 1 and level 2. What our challenge is can we begin to consciously work on moving from being selective marginal listeners to levels 3 and 4? Level 3 is active listening. It takes work. It takes a little work. We, if we are truly interested in something, if we want to learn about something, if we're truly curious, we can be active listeners. But it does take a little bit of our effort, especially in today's very noisy culture. Like none of us can, what I call eyes up, thumbs down, put our phones down. The only way we can actively be present and listen to people is if we remove distractions. And quite frankly, for some of us, that's harder to do than it is for others, right? Some of us are just like, it's kind of that comparison. If we've ever seen the memes about like, the computer screen with like 50 tabs open, like a woman's mind or brain always has 50 tabs open and a man's might have like 2. It's a little bit like that. We have to be consciously aware of, am I actively listening to this person? When I started this, Melodie, years ago, it was my challenge to myself to become better at remembering people's names. When we are if we're networking and we are introducing ourselves to people or being introduced to people, that if I come to you and someone's like, Melodie, have you met Jodi? And I'm like, hi, Melodie, and we shake hands and say hello. And 5 minutes later, we've all done this. You don't remember my name.
Yeah.
Why? It is because we were not actively listening. I didn't actively make eye contact with you and engage and return and say, Melodie, it's really nice to meet you, and ask you a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe that's the way. How do we make impact in our ability to actively listen to what we need to? Maybe at that moment, we're trying to think about, like the person standing behind you or next to you that we know we kind of know and we want to meet this person. And so now we've forgotten your name.
Yeah.
Or maybe we're just trying to think of, this is so awkward and I'm really nervous and I don't want to be here, but this is like, I got to be here. And so what is the distraction? Name it, identify it, and put it away, right? Like get active in how you are listening to people and what is the piece or the content that you are really challenging yourself to develop. I would say that about active listening. So that's really where I believe we need to spend more time, moving from selective and marginal to active. Level 4 is extremely challenging Level 4 really takes you to another level with people, and it's empathetic listening.
Okay.
And, so I think about that from a workplace perspective, and especially for leaders. If you are leading people, whether you have actual authority over people, meaning you're signing their paychecks or whatever that, entails, hiring and firing, or if you have what I call influence without authority. Many of us have the blessing of being able to influence others without authority. If we are able to learn to listen, not only actively but also when we need to listen empathetically, it takes us to a completely different level of leadership, mentorship, and most importantly, influence. We
Mm-hmm.
are influencing others by becoming empathetic listeners, meaning I may not care what that person truly cares about, right? Like, I really may not feel what they feel, but I do recognize that their feelings are real. They
Yeah.
do feel that way
Yeah.
about what they're explaining to me, why they're upset about this situation, why they feel this way about what I said to them, or what my face said to them.
Yeah.
Might not have
Yeah.
even been my words, but if we are able to put ourselves in someone else's shoes, then we've become an empathetic listener. And I think it is a direct correlation to the level of respect. And ultimately, I call it satisfaction. Some people, I've replaced the word success in a lot of ways with the word satisfaction. I think that in
Mm-hmm.
today's world, if we are living toward a worldly definition of success, we are never truly happy or content. Whereas
Yeah.
if we are living toward a definition of being satisfied in who we are and what we do,
Yeah.
then our ability to become this active and empathetic listener leads us to this level of contentment, because we have richer relationships that are mutually beneficial. They are collaborative, they are communicative. You have enough respect to handle conflict and move forward through that. And so I think that, like our friend Rob Marr would classify that as being people focused versus task focused. And
Yeah.
when we're moving towards a goal of being just exponentially able to become more effective and efficient, and whether you want to call it successful or satisfied, we can't achieve that by being task focused. We can only achieve that by being people focused. And
Yeah.
to me, the key is listening actively and empathetically.
And that really resonates with me, because when I reflect on whether it's leaders or, like you said, just people around me in my both personal and professional life that really made a mark and just really had an impact on me, they were so good at making me feel like I was the only person in the room and being genuinely invested and interested in me. And I feel like, and like you identified, I love that eyes up, thumbs down, just that catchphrase, because
Yeah.
it seems like, again, that hustle culture and just the pace that we're going at, we
Yeah.
don't take that time to just have a moment, connect
Yeah.
with people, because we're always like, okay, I got 5 minutes. Sure. Yeah. Let's meet.
Yes. Yeah. And so we're late for the meeting, and then we're late getting out of that meeting, and we're late for the next meeting. Like, ownership of our time, just hugely important there. But, you said it, when it really comes down to it, we are all so hungry to be seen, to be heard, to be understood as
Yes.
human beings.
Yeah.
And in this world of technology, this hustle culture we live in, Melodie, we are the loneliest people we have ever been. And it comes down to a lack of human connection. Like,
Yeah.
we have to reconnect as human beings.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jodi. I think this gives us some good food for thought for those that follow the Star Wars lore, I feel like that level 1 and 2 are sort of the Padawan learning, or sort of that entry level learning of marginal and selective listening. And then if you want to be a Jedi master, then it's moving up to that next 2 levels of active listening. And I really appreciate that. For me, it was new. Hearing that empathetic listening was that sort of final piece on the top.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah, I love
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you so much, Melodie.
All right. Can't wait till our next conversation.
Awesome. Have an amazing day.
Yeah, you too. This was a great reminder that everything isn't always about me. I really liked how Jodi broke down this key piece of communicating is listening, and more specifically, it's about the other person and thinking about going into conversations, being curious, having a curious mind, understanding what impact that person wants to make in the world or just in the clinic space around them, and even just personally, what's important to them. I really liked the breakdown of the 4 different levels of listening, as shared by Stephen Covey, thinking about sort of level 1 is that marginal listening, and then selective listening. Those are things that are easy to do in the space we tend to be in, because the next 2 levels of active listening, and then even more difficult, empathetic listening, where you're there to validate the other person's feelings, really takes a lot more effort and energy. So remembering that key phrase, eyes up, thumbs down, in today's world, to help us recenter and be present in these conversations with others so that we can be better communicators. Not being there thinking about, okay, well, what is my point that I'm trying to get across? What's my agenda that I'm trying to do? Again, stepping back and maybe just collectively going, okay, what is the bigger picture? What are we trying to accomplish? And working together to that end. And then there's just the little conversations that need to happen just to help us build bridges again, and just genuinely being curious about other people and their interests, and just asking. People love talking about themselves, in the sense of, if you show genuine interest in what they have to say, and I'm not just saying pretending that you're interested, genuinely being interested and learning more, it opens up so many doors and just helps you to build those little bridges that you need day to day, so that when something bigger comes along, you've got that rapport, you've got that trust, you've got that respect built with that other person. And there's so many things that you can do when you do it together. Thanks for listening. Until next time.